This is Jonathan Agatha for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined by Ted Cheeseman over Zoom. Ted, how you doing? Getting back to normality a bit. How are you finding sort of adjusting back to normality?
Yeah, it's sort of the hard part, like, I think, because we've gone through most of the camp with no distractions at all. And obviously, like, now it's that point where all your mates, it's summer, all your mates are texting you, oh, you can go here, we can go there. Like, this is open, that's open. And it's sort of like, obviously I've got a young family, so like can't really do too much anyway. But where it's summer, where everything's like, it's like sort of like an event at the moment for everything, because everyone's missed out on so much of the year. So now is the time where it's going to get a bit harder in camp, because there's loads of possibilities of doing stuff. You can go places, you can do things, you can go and eat food in restaurants that ain't the greatest for you. And that's what makes it hard. I think the best training camp I've had so far, like for my pro boxing, is probably this one being in lockdown, as there's literally nothing else other to do other than train.
That's quite interesting. I didn't actually think of it like that, but I guess it is because literally everyone else is in training camp pretty much.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, obviously, like all these people, they ain't been to work, they've been having house parties and stuff, but sort of that's not really that enjoyable to like us. It's nice to obviously go out, have a bit of food and whatever, but now all these people who've been stuck indoors and whatever, and they haven't been training, they've just been bored, whatever, are now going to go crazy and go wild. And it's like, or a lot of people who live normal lives and don't have to be a sports people and have to make sacrifices and that, and go and do whatever they want, but we've still got to stay dedicated and keep training hard.
What is it like being sort of a boxer, having to make all these sacrifices? Because I guess people don't always sort of consider the amount of work that goes into sort of a training camp, especially when the result on fight night doesn't go your way. How do you sort of process it?
It's very hard. Like, it's the mental side of the sport that's one of the hardest parts of the sport, and I always say that to a lot of people. Like, I always say, even though when I have my problems, I ain't going on, but when I have my problems, I was fit as a fiddle, but I just mentally weren't there. And if you're mentally not there, like, you're just not the fighter. Like, you can be. You're nowhere. If say you're just 30% mentally not there out of 100%, you ain't gonna turn up the normal fight you turn up. Do you know what I mean? So it's very hard. Do you know what I mean? I think that's one of the hardest parts of the sport. I think normal people, like, who ain't sports people, can go and train in the gym. Yeah. When it starts feeling a bit hard, they can stop training. They can have a rest, go and have a sauna and that, or it feels a bit hard, let's go easier. We can't. We're just like pushing our body to the limit. But the difference with boxing as well, you're not just training boxing or one like fitness. It's like aerobic, anaerobic. You know what I mean? You're training for a marathon, a sprint, and a middle distance. You know what I mean? It's like you're training for all three. So it's very hard training. Plus, you're dieting while doing it, trying to make a weight. So you can't fuel yourself like some other athletes can just eat, and as long as it's food, it don't matter really the amounts. You got to watch your amounts you're eating. You got to watch the liquid you're drinking. You know what I mean? It's hard. You know what I mean? It is a very hard sport, especially when you're young. You got a young family. Like, you can, for 12 weeks when you're in camp, all your mates and all your missus' mates and that are going to these nice restaurants and eating all this nice food and desserts. And like, there's certain places obviously you can go, but you can't just go anywhere. So it's like you miss out on a lot. You miss out on a lot, and that's why I always say, like, sportsmen deserve whatever they get. When people moan and say, "Oh, this person, footballer's got too much money, they're earning too much." Listen, if the sports club is pulling in that revenue from players playing, they deserve every penny. Same way as boxers, same way as athletics, same way as rugby players. It don't matter what you are. We make a lot of sacrifices, and what people forget is, from the age of 12 when I started till 19, I never got a penny for it. Do you know what I mean? So it was like a massive long apprenticeship for nothing, and then hoping to get some rewards at the end of it when you turn pro, and that still ain't guaranteed. Ain't like I've done a 7-year apprenticeship for a trade or a type of job, and I was getting paid while doing apprenticeship pay, and then I knew when I finished that 7 years, I was guaranteed this money. It's nothing guaranteed. So you put yourself through this torture, this pain, this mental side, and then all of a sudden, there's still no guarantee. You know what I mean? That like you have to try and be hope and be lucky as well. As much as there is a lot of luck comes into it, is opportunities, taking opportunities, and it's a very hard sport.
Especially, I mean, your last fight was in October, I believe. Yeah, October.
Yeah.
So now we're coming up to August. Only a few weeks now to go. What has this period been like? Not prying too deeply in, but for all boxers, you're not earning money. Do you have sort of sponsors that have helped you out over this sort of 8 months?
Yeah, I had a couple of sponsors help me out, but like most sponsorships are on year deals, and like January, February, most of my year deal from the year before finished, and obviously I never had the greatest year. Obviously, publicity-wise, I had a good year. There was all big fights, whatever, but on paper, it wasn't a great year for me. Even though I believe I won 2 out of the 3 fights, it never happened, and that's the main thing. It's about what actually happened. So I lost a lot of sponsors, and luckily, a couple stayed loyal. I started my own business last summer, having a building company, and that's been busy, obviously, through a lot of people not wanting to sort of move house. They don't really know what the selling situation is at the moment, whether it's good or bad. So they're more doing a house up and instead of buying or selling. So I've been able to stay comfortable through that. Otherwise, if it was just boxing, we'd be ruined. You know what I mean? Obviously, I got self-employed grant, but like when you're used to earning like good chunks of money from fights or whatever, it's like you live to your lifestyle, you live to your means, don't you? And obviously, we're used to our means. And I was meant to fight March the 28th, and I'd done a whole camp. So basically, I paid a lot out. Like camps cost a lot as a like full-time professional. A camp does cost a lot. You got petrol every week. For me, I've got 2 Dartford crossings every day. You know what I mean? I have to pay your nutrition, your massages, your physio. There's loads of stuff you have to pay for. Do you know what I mean? So camps cost thousands. Do you know what I mean? Camps cost £1,000. Sometimes you got to pay for sparring. Do you know what I mean? Depending on how the fight is. So I've done a whole camp, and like you're investing in yourself basically, because hopefully that you win your next fight, and the next fight you're like it's always you're hoping for the win and to get better, to be in a better position financially, better position boxing. And you do a whole camp, and in the week before you get cancelled. And we're not footballers, we're not on a contract where we're getting paid each week. We get paid per fight. So we've done like 12 weeks or whatever, nearly 3 months for nothing. So it was like a big waste of time really, but you can't use it as a waste of time. You just got to look again. You've invested in yourself. As much as you never had the fight, you worked a lot on different stuff and improved your style as a fighter. And you just built. It's another life experience of no one, no matter what business you're in or what type of work you're in, everyone's been hit somehow or the other. So we've all got to sort of just take it on the chin and make the best out of it.
Yeah, definitely. You're 24 years old, former British champion. You've challenged for the European title. You faced domestic opponents in sort of short space of time. It does feel like you've been around for a long time. But you know, you've got Sam Eggington coming up now in 3 weeks. How are you feeling towards that?
I'm really confident. My head's in the best place it's been for a long while, for many years. I'm in the best shape I've been in for many years again. You know what I mean? I'm just like the best I've felt all round for a long time. And that's through giving myself time, having opportunity, time to have rest. When a lot of the time in my career, I ain't had a chance to have a rest. Obviously, it's lockdown. At the start of lockdown, we was given an opportunity to be able to have a little bit of a rest our bodies. So it refreshed my mind, it refreshed my body, and it's made me more determined than ever. And I sort of feel like reborn as a fighter again now. Like I'm restarting my professional career again, but fast tracked at a big fight where if I win that, I catapult myself into a great position for many big doors to be opened.
I mean, it's only 3 weeks and a few days to go until that fight. It's a fight that a lot of people are quite highly anticipating, fan-friendly fight. Both of you like to come forward. I know in your last fight, you sort of changed it up a bit against Scott Fitzgerald. This is a really interesting fight. You must be quite looking forward to it as well, you know, headlining a show on the first one of Fight Camp.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's going to have massive viewing figures. So we're getting ourselves out there. A lot of publicity. We're getting ourselves. It's a massive fight. If I win the belt, as long as I win, and I'm very confident on doing that, I'll take his number 5 ranking with IBF. So I'll be ranked high with the IBF. I'll be IBF international champion, and I'm just back on that road again. And obviously, like you say, this is a massive event. In 20, 30 years' time, people are still going to be talking about when boxers box behind closed doors on Sky Sports with no crowd in Eddie Earn's back garden. And the thing is, it ain't like I'm just part of it. I'm top of the bill of the first event. So it's sort of like, once the first one's done, the hype's there, but it ain't as like hyped as what the build up to it is. There's a whole massive build up to that first event. And once the first event's happened, everyone's going to know, because right now no one can answer questions to it. You know what I mean? No one can say, what's it going to be like? How is it going to be? How will it feel? Because no one's done it. So until we've been done the first show, then everyone will have a few more answers. How different fighters felt with the situation, the atmosphere, and that's why I'm really excited to be a part of it. And I just feel this is going to kickstart my journey again on my career.
You obviously train at the Matchroom Elite Boxing Gym, which is, I believe, basically on the complex.
It's about 1.5 miles away.
Okay.
1.5 miles away. Yeah.
I mean, in that gym, obviously, you've got the likes of Felix Cash, who's also going to be on one of the shows. Conor Benn, Ricky Burns, John Doherty, John Ryder. I think I've named everyone, hopefully. With all that sort of, and Craig Richards, of course, with all that sort of experience, and, you know, you've got a mixture of kind of experience with the likes of Ricky Burns, and you've got sort of guys like yourselves, Craig and others sort of coming through the ranks. It must be quite a good sort of gym atmosphere, because you've got, you know, a mixture of both. I mean, what's it like being in the gym, especially with your coach Tony as well?
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere in the gym, like you say. It's full of big characters. You know what I mean? And we're all striving to have a lot of success. So we're all pushing each other, our times on our runs, how hard we're working on the bags and pads, how fast the pace of spars are. So it's like, it's great to be a part of it, because I think about it sometimes, and I look like we're talking in the gym, and like some pros who are just like stuck with them and their coach, and like how sort of boring and draining it must be. But to come in the gym, be able to have a bit of banter, have a laugh, and have people who you can see who are pushing at your level or above to sort of push for your goals is great, and it makes it a lot easier. You know what I mean? It makes it more enjoyable and a lot easier.
Obviously, we touched on a bit. Sort of, you feel reborn, refreshed. Obviously, last year didn't go your way at times. Some very close fights. Looking back now, how do those fights sit with you now?
In my head, it's like I'm not a delusional fighter. If I believe I won, I believe I won. If I lost, I lost. I mean, I could pray to have the judge that give the Sergio Garcia fights a split on every fight for me, and judge every one of my fights, because I lost the fight. You know what I mean? Clearly. So, however he give the that scorecard to me, I don't know. You know what I mean? But with the other two fights, it's like I believe I won. I honestly believe I won, and in my head, mentally, I've took it as, all right, all these fights were experience, but deep down in my head, I'm a 17-1 fighter, and the fight I lost, I was mentally not there. You know what I mean? But now I am, and it ain't how you start your career or at the middle of your career. It's how your career ends, and I just believe now that's just gonna make me the fighter that I will end up. And I've picked up a lot of experience, a lot of like ring craft. You know what I mean? I've been in with a lot of top fighters. I've done a lot of rounds. You know what I mean? A lot of 12 rounders now and 10 rounders. So I've picked up that experience, and I just, like, as you say, I'm 24 and I've got a lot of experience. You know what I mean? A lot more experience than some fighters who have who are 27, 28. You know what I mean? So it's just, I've got to take all that and use that to my advantage, and use it to push on with my career.
You said, if you were to beat Sam Eggington, you'd move to, I believe, number 5 with the IBF.
Yeah.
Does a win sort of put you in line for sort of an eliminator for a world title? Do you want another domestic operator? What would a win sort of do for you?
You know what? I used to always push all this stuff. You know what I mean? Because I was in a total rush as a young, fresh fighter, hungry, and just in a rush, wanted to get in the sport and get out. But now, my whole passion of it has changed. You know what I mean? I come in the sport, not a lot of money, started earning quite a bit of money. The passion turned from wanting to be world champion to wanting to be rich. And now my passion has totally changed again. And I've refound the passion of, I don't really care about the money. I won't sell myself short in a fight. But the money ain't the main focus. The main focus is winning and fulfilling my potential. Like, the main thing is, I started boxing at 12 years old. I'm 24 now, so I've been boxing 12 years. Say I retire at 30, that's another 6 years, or 5 years, so I'm 25 in August. But if I retire at 30 and I achieved my full potential, I believe I could achieve, then I'll be happy. Or at least if I give 100% at trying to do that. But if I don't, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. So there's a million ways other than boxing to make money. And from 30 to 80, you're more than likely going to live another 50 years, you know what I mean, from 30. So you got plenty of time of aiming to get rich. And now my main focus is pushing on and being the best fighter I
Um, Last one on sort of the fight itself, coming up in 3 weeks' time. Not long at all now. Do you have a prediction? Do you have sort of, how you feel the fight's going to play out?
can. I believe obviously Sam's going to try and make it a hard fight. But I just think I'm better all round, and I'll dominate. And then as the rounds get going, one of the big shots are going to land, and it will go, or I'll be landing too much and the ref will jump in. But I just believe I'll get him out there before the end of the fight. I don't think Sam's will last 12 rounds with me.
Just taking you away from this a bit, I've seen sort of a few interviews you've been doing over this period. You speak and have spoken very openly about sort of the problems you've had in the past with gambling, etc. It's very admirable to see someone sort of speak out about sort of their problems that they've had.
Yeah.
How important has it been for you, and how much has it helped you sort of speaking openly on the matter when you really didn't have to tell people?
Yeah, I'll be truthful with you. Again, like I said earlier about Tony, like, influencing and mentoring me. I said to Tony said to me, I like Matchroom want you to do an interview, and I like that Born Fighter or whatever. And I said, to be honest, Tony, I don't really want to. I don't want to do like a sub story and like I'm making an excuse. It don't matter. I can say that after my career or whatever. And then he was like, no, look, just get out there and make it easier and make, like, you might help other people and stuff. And like obviously since I've done it, I had a lot of good feedback. Obviously, you get some bad feedback, no matter whether it's good or bad. But obviously, for me, being open about it, like you're never ever fully recovered. Do you know what I mean? No matter what anyone says. Like obviously, in my head, I'm fully recovered and whatever. But you're never, like people say, as an addict, you're never fully recovered. You could have a trigger that the next day, all of a sudden, you're back to square one again. But I feel I'm in a great place right now. I'm comfortable. My mind's in the best place it's been in, and I just think, as I say, obviously men and women, it don't matter who you are or kids, or the best thing is to do is to admit it. You know what I mean? Because for years I never admitted it, and it was just all until it got too much. Do you know what I mean? But if I admitted it before that, maybe I would have had a break out of boxing. Maybe Tony would have organised me to get sorted out before then, and I might still be an undefeated fighter and whatever. But it don't matter. It's in the past now. But if someone else has that opportunity to be able to prevent it before they have to cure it, you know what I mean? Like to prevent the problems happening and cure the problem they have before they cause themselves any problems or their life any problems. Try and sort it out, admit it, and then the only way of getting help is admitting it. If you don't admit it, you're not going to get help. And ever since I've admitted it, I've got help and moved on in my life. And but from the night of the Garcia fight, when I got back to the changing rooms, cried my eyes out and told Tony, admitted to Tony and everything, till now, I would never thought I'd be in a position I'm in now. And I'm grateful for Tony and everyone in the gym and a few of Tony's mates who helped me get to this position. You know what I mean? And I'll just keep pushing on from there and giving my all to do the best I can in boxing and in life.
Yeah, brilliantly said. One more I wanted to ask you. One of your stablemates, John Ryder, had a very close fight with Callum Smith last November. There's been talk, and I believe Eddie Hearn sent an offer to Canelo for a September fight. Have you spoken to John about this? It's Canelo Alvarez. I'm sure he's bang
Yeah,
up
of
for that
course.
if that was to happen.
Yeah, we're all in the gym talking about it, and he's obviously excited and hope it happens, obviously, and everyone's talking about who he's in the running for it or whatever. But fingers crossed. I hope John gets his shot. I feel he deserves it. I felt, like you said, it's a close fight, but I felt he deserves to beat Callum Smith. And from that, it don't look like Callum Smith wants to rematch. And if he don't want to rematch I think it's only right. John deserves a shot at Canelo. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully he gets it. But I think there's a lot of fighters in line, but I really do hope John gets it.
We'll wait and see on that. Ted, thanks very much for coming on, giving us your time. Look forward to 1st of August. You, Sam Eggington, great fight. And we'll catch up soon after.
Yeah, all right. No problem, mate. Thanks a lot.